A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to the program Galaxy Prime. Thank you so much for joining us and for choosing us on this Wednesday evening. It's just gone after 6 p.m. Central African time. We're coming to you live from our Midrand studios here in Johannesburg. My name is Audrey Chimwanda-Twala. I'll be taking you through the news and updates of the day from South Africa and across the continent. In our top story now, JM Aviation Director and former Swissport South Africa Director Vuyisile Nzeku has lashed out at the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture in Johannesburg, accusing it of being racially biased. He says the commission is targeting black executives in the aviation industry, while millions disappeared at the South African Airways under white leadership which has not been probed. Nzeku, who admitted to not having any aviation qualifications, says he started JM Aviation with an American-based partner. The company secured a contract for component support and maintenance with SAA and the technical team. The contracts are alleged to have been issued irregularly, and Nzeku has confirmed that his wife and his daughters also worked and held shares at JM Aviation. Here's a recap of what transpired at the Zondo Commission today.
This is the person we must work with.
Yes.
And Peter Cole flew from Johannesburg and this young man straight to Durban to another meeting of empowerment, which is what was happening there. I think Ms. Quinana was here and the dude was there. It was also roadshow of empowerment. I was not part of that.
Yes, no, but my question is, quite a few times you have emphasized that Peter Cole was the one who was dealing with,
yes, empowerment,
I think,
yes,
operations and so on. And you were not involved. And my question is, why were you then phoning Ms. Quinana about this empowerment partner? Why were you not leaving that to Peter Cole to do?
No, because Peter Cole he asked me to do that. Because this young man told Peter Cole that he'll be going actually to Durban. He wants me and him to go to Durban and Peter Cole because he was told by Ms. Mieni and Ms. Quinana. So that's why now I was talking to Ms. Quinana about this young man, about this 30%, because one of the company, the budgeted AXA, they also had this problem. So I just wanted to find out, Chair.
So you did get involved in operational matters when, sometimes?
Sometimes, yes.
Yes. Ms. Hofmeyer.
How many times did you speak to her about it?
About what, Chair?
The empowerment partner.
I think many times.
Many?
Yeah.
Why would there be a need for many conversations about the empowerment partner, Mr. Nzeku?
Well, I didn't see anything wrong. Because this young man is here, he wants to get a job. So Peter Cole is asking me, do I really give him a job? I says, why are you asking me? Because he wanted to be employed. So the person who is always mentioning Ms. Quinana. So I said, okay, let me ask Quinana, what is the story? I don't see anything wrong if I was talking to her.
No, indeed, Mr. Nzeku, but that's a one topic, one conversation type of engagement, I put it to you. Why did you need many engagements about the empowerment partner?
Well, I don't know. I decided to call her because this gentleman was here. He wanted to get a job. He wanted to be part of this. And Peter was asking me, do we give him a job or what to do? You know?
So
when you phoned Ms. Quinana for the first time about the BE partner, what did you want to find out from her about the BE partner or empowerment partner?
Well, first time I called Ms. Quinana, this young man was there. Oh, Dalikoro, can you please explain me exactly what is happening? He says, but who see? And they are saying I must be part of this. I said, how can you be part of this when Swissport has got empowerment? You know, Chair, it was just a long story with Dalikoro, which is, it was not only him alone.
COSATU has accused the African National Congress of increasingly suffering from ill discipline and factionalism following its two-day Central Executive Committee with its affiliate unions. The Congress of South African Trade Unions says it will begin mobilizing for major strike action in the first week of October. with the protest focusing on corruption and perceived inaction by the government. COSATU's General Secretary Bheki Ntshalintshali said the Federation wants President Cyril Ramaphosa to speed up prosecutions of corrupt individuals. COSATU is the largest trade federation in the country, with an estimated membership of over 1.8 million workers. And following a bitter and lengthy legal tussle between the Fair Trade Independent Tobacco Association and the Government of South Africa over the banning of the sale of tobacco products, the parties have now reached a settlement. FITA chairperson Sinenhlanhla Mnguni says that the issue on Wednesday meant that they will withdraw their pending appeal before the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. This comes after the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, undertook to engage the public should she at any stage seek to reinstate a temporary prohibition of the sale of tobacco and related products. Mnguni further says that this agreement follows weeks of negotiations between the legal teams of both FITA and the Minister, and that of President Cyril Ramaphosa to try and settle the issues that are still in dispute regarding the cigarette ban during the lockdown period. The Minister, meanwhile, as part of the settlement, undertook that if she wanted to reinstate the ban, any invitation to or announcement of a consultation process would be issued publicly. And FITA and any other interested party would then have to be free to participate in that process. The Minister, meanwhile, as part of the settlement, undertook that she will take that into consideration. We'll take a very short breather. Do stay with us here on Galaxy Prime. More news and updates in just a moment.
Violence and sexual abuse against children has become a major social challenge during the COVID-19 lockdown. We appeal to adults, parents and caregivers to be kind towards children during this lockdown and beyond. Give children the space they need to engage with their reading and learning activities. Do not hit them. Do not yell at them. They are equally frustrated. We urge you to listen, support and help the children to survive the COVID-19 lockdown. Report immediately any incident of sexual abuse. The Department of Basic Education. Every child is a national asset.
The day will come when these measures are no longer needed. Until then, however, we must ensure that all our people receive adequate support. We look ahead to a better future. I have faith in the strength and the resilience of ordinary South Africans who have proven time and time again throughout our history that they can rise to any challenge that is presented to our country. We shall recover. We shall overcome.
Feel the heat.
I love Adam Selman.
The girls are really thin. I think it looks very glamorous from the outside.
The life of a model in New York City.
There is such cool prints. So many.
You know, I'm buying this.
Look at me and all the selfie sort of thing. Honestly, I didn't really know that was actually a job. It just didn't occur to me.
Congratulations. Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Chicken portions are an easy way to feed a crowd.
I've just started to incorporate all my ingredients.
We're going to put this inside of a hot cast iron skillet.
You want to really fill up on great protein.
It's now time to sample the chef's dish. Look at this.
I know.
Like that.
Feel the excitement.
The chicken is on the spot.
Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Do you dream of awesome cartoons filled with funny characters who go on extraordinary adventures?
Everybody ready? Ready!
Hold on, I'm coming! This is genius.
I'm on my way.
Let's go!
Feel the excitement.
Like it? I love it!
Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat. Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat.
Violence and sexual abuse against children has become a major social challenge during the COVID-19 lockdown. We appeal to adults, parents, and caregivers to be kind towards children during this lockdown and beyond. Give children the space they need to engage with their reading and learning activities. Do not hit them. Do not yell at them. They are equally frustrated. We urge you to listen, support, and help the children to survive the COVID-19 lockdown. Report immediately any incident of sexual abuse. The Department of Basic Education. Every child is a national asset.
The day will come when these measures are no longer needed. Until then, however, we must ensure that all our people receive adequate support. We look ahead to a better future. I have faith in the strength and the resilience of ordinary South Africans who have proven time and time again throughout our history that they can rise to any challenge that is presented to our country. We shall recover. We shall overcome.
Feel the heat.
I love Adam Selman.
The girls are really thin. I think it looks very glamorous from the outside.
The life of a model in New York City.
There is such cool prints. So many.
You know, I'm buying this.
Look at me and all the selfie sort of thing. Honestly, I didn't really know that was actually a job. It just didn't occur to me.
Congratulations.
Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Chicken portions are an easy way to feed a crowd.
I've just started to incorporate all my ingredients.
We're going to put this inside of a hot cast iron skillet.
You want to really fill up on great protein.
It's now time to sample the chef's dish. Look at this.
I know.
Like that?
Feel the excitement.
The chicken is on the spot.
Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Do you dream of awesome cartoons filled with funny characters who go on extraordinary adventures?
Everybody ready? Ready!
Hold on, I'm coming! This is absolute genius.
I'm on my way.
Let's go!
Feel the excitement.
Like it? I love it!
Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat. Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Just watch this. Let the pictures tell you everything.
It's all the way through!
Oh, what about that? That was really special. Those are the moments that supporters will remember.
Feel the excitement. That was delightful. Feel the heat with StarSat.
And a warm welcome back to the program. Thank you for staying with us. If you have just joined us, this is Galaxy Prime. We're coming to you live with the latest news and updates from across the continent. I'm Audrey Chimwanda Twala. Now, just earlier today, Minister Blade Nzimande held a media briefing, a rather lengthy one, and just trying to tell the nation about the implications and the plans of the Department of Higher Education, Science and Innovation in response to lockdown alert level 2 and the readiness of the department for the students to be able to go back to the academic year. Here's a report of what he had to say.
In place across the sector and to ensure the continued safety of students and staff while allowing for greater access to campus teaching and learning for more students. In terms of the criteria, the following categories of students will be able now to return under level 2. The first category of students who are now going to return as part of this 1/3, it's all groups that had been prioritized to return in level 3 but could not be accommodated due to the maximum campus carrying capacity having been reached. Shutha ababesalele ekuqaleni kule ngxenye yesithathu yokuqala yibo manje abazobuyela ngoba sasingekho isikhala esanele ukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi akukho ukugcwala okuzodala ukuthi singakwazi ukulandela umgomo wokuthi abafundi nabafundisi bangasondelana eduze. The second group will be students in all years of study who require laboratory and technical equipment to complete the academic year. The third group will be students in all years of study who require practical placements, experiential learning, workplace-based learning to complete the academic year. Of course, provided the workplaces and platforms are open and prepared. And the next category that's going back this time is all first-year students in all undergraduate programs. So those are the groups of students who are now going to go back as the second 1/3. All other students will continue to be supported through remote multimodal teaching, learning, and assessment until they can return to campus. It is recognized that each institution will determine the implementation of these criteria in terms of their own academic programs and plans. Some have been asking then, what about the last one?
In a rather shocking story, a Johannesburg family has been left shattered. This after a woman and her grandchildren were found dead with their throats slit. With just 5 days left of Women's Month, the bodies of 58-year-old Matsi Tlatla and her grandchildren, Butselo Mutsele, 14 years old, and Debelo Mutsele, 10 years old, were discovered at the Protea Glen home in Soweto. The family members are still in shock at finding their loved ones with multiple stab wounds and slit throats. This after they had been called to the scene by a neighbor who grew suspicious about the lack of activity in the house. It is suspected that Tlatla's boyfriend committed the murders over the weekend and he is apparently on the run. According to the police, preliminary evidence suggests that the victims were stabbed one after the other. South African Police Service spokesperson Brigadier Matapelo Peters has appealed for any information that could lead to the arrest of the suspect. Taking a look at regional stories now, campaigning has begun in Tanzania ahead of a general election that is due at the end of October. President John Magufuli, who's seeking a re-election, faces 14 challenges. The ruling CCM party has dominated Tanzania's politics for decades, and a united opposition during the last election gave the party the strongest challenge. But the crowded race this time could give the president an even greater advantage. Magufuli was widely praised as a reformist when he took office 5 years ago, but has since been accused of stifling dissent. In June, he controversially declared that the coronavirus had been defeated in Tanzania through the power of prayer. Most Tanzanians have since resumed normal business in spite of concerns raised by critics at home and abroad. This year's election is expected to be the most challenging yet as the government continues to clamp down on dissent. Ivory Coast's former president, Laurent Gbagbo, has been barred from running from the presidency and the upcoming elections after a court upheld the Electoral Commission's decision to remove him from the electoral list. His lawyer, Claude Menton, told news agencies that there was no further legal recourse inside Ivory Coast. The country's Electoral Commission struck him off of the list of candidates because he was convicted of a crime. The president of the Electoral Commission had in August said that anyone convicted of a crime would not be allowed to stand. He made the announcement while revealing the revised electoral list. Now, 4 candidates, including rebel leader Gualame Soro, were also removed from the list. Gbagbo was sentenced in absentia in November 2019 for looting of the Central Bank of the West African states, following a disputed 2010 election that resulted in violent protests. Well, then, good news coming from the continent. Africa has been declared free from polio. This after decades of work by a coalition of international health bodies, national and local governments, as well as community volunteers and survivors. 4 years after the last recorded case of wild polio in the northern part of Nigeria, the African Regional Certification Commission on Tuesday certified that the continent is now free from the virus. It can cause irreversible paralysis and in some cases death. The achievement is the result of a campaign to vaccinate and to monitor children in Borno State. Now, it's the final front of the polio eradication effort on the continent, and this is at the heart of jihadist insurgency in Nigeria. Back in 1996, 75,000 children in Africa were paralyzed by polio. The World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa says the fight now is to improve the lives of the survivors. In international stories now, United States First Lady Melania Trump headlined the 2020 Republican National Convention. While delivering remarks from the White House, she offered condolences to Americans who lost their loved ones to COVID-19. Let's take a listen in.
Lives have changed drastically. The invisible enemy, COVID-19, swept across our beautiful country and impacted all of us. My deepest sympathy goes out to everyone who has lost a loved one, and my prayers are with those who are ill or suffering.
Melania Trump then recalled her own immigration story on how she left her native country, Slovenia, in pursuit of an American dream, as the party is trying to push the theme of America as a land of opportunity.
Communist rule at the time. I always heard about an amazing place called America, a land that stood for freedom and opportunity. As I grew older, it became my goal to move to the United States and follow my dream of working in the fashion industry. My parents worked very hard to ensure our family could not only live and prosper in America, but also contribute to a nation that allows for people to arrive with a dream and make it reality.
The Republican National Convention continued with the appearances by President Donald Trump, Vice President Mike Pence ahead of the U.S. 2020 presidential elections, of which Trump is officially nominated as a candidate. And with that, Galaxy Prime will take a very short break. When we do come back, we have a special guest in studio for you. Dr. Linda GOBODA from VUCA Africa will be talking to us about hope, healing and restoration during the COVID-19 era and looking ahead positively. So just stay with us.
Violence and sexual abuse against children has become a major social challenge during the COVID-19 lockdown. We appeal to adults, parents and caregivers to be kind towards children during this lockdown and beyond. Give children the space they need to engage with their reading and learning activities. Do not hit them. Do not yell at them. they are equally frustrated. We urge you to listen, support, and help the children to survive the COVID-19 lockdown. Report immediately any incident of sexual abuse. The Department of Basic Education. Every child is a national asset.
The day will come when these measures are no longer needed. Until then, however, we must ensure that all our people receive adequate support. We look ahead to a better future. I have faith in the strength and the resilience of ordinary South Africans who have proven time and time again throughout our history that they can rise to any challenge that is presented to our country. We shall recover. We shall overcome.
Feel the heat.
I love Adam Selman.
The girls are really thin. I think it looks very glamorous from the outside.
The life of a model in New York City.
There is such cool prints. So many.
You know, I'm buying this.
Look at me and all the selfie sort of thing. Honestly, I didn't really know that was actually a job. It just didn't occur to me.
Congratulations.
Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Chicken portions are an easy way to feed a crowd.
I've just started to incorporate all my ingredients.
We're going to put this inside of a hot cast iron skillet.
You want to really fill up on great protein.
It's now time to sample the chef's dish. Look at this.
I know.
Like that?
Feel the excitement.
The chicken is on the spot.
Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Do you dream of awesome cartoons filled with funny characters who go on extraordinary adventures?
Everybody ready? Ready!
Hold on, I'm coming.
This is absolute genius.
I'm on my way.
I'm ready. Titans, go!
Feel the excitement.
Like it? I love it.
Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat. Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat. Feel the heat.
Just watch this. Let the pictures tell you everything.
It's all the way through!
Oh, what about that? That was really special. Those are the moments that supporters will remember.
Feel the excitement. That was delightful. Feel the heat with...
And a warm welcome back to the program, Galaxy Prime. Thank you for staying with us. If you have just joined us, we're coming to you live from our Midrand studios here in Johannesburg. To all our viewers across the continent, we love that you decided to choose us this evening. It's just gone after 6:30 p.m. Central African time. This is Galaxy Universal Network. My name is Audrey Chimwanda-Twala. As promised before the break, I have a special guest with me in studio today, Dr. Linda GOBODA. She is the VUCA Africa founder. We're going to be talking about hope and restoration, in this time of COVID-19 and what we can look forward to going ahead and anything else that you might want to speak about as we continue to celebrate the women that are in our space this Women's Month in October. Dr. GOBODA, thank you for coming through to the program and honoring us with your presence.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Audrey. I am
blessed and excited.
You look absolutely stunning, by the way.
Thank you.
Look, absolutely. A happy Women's Month, a happy Women's...
Same to you and all the women.
Yes, absolutely. It is our month. We wish it would be our day every day of the week, but yes. we will take August. I've been following your work of VUCA Africa. You speak a lot about restoration and hope and peace and a healing of the nation. Yeah. I know this is a project, a campaign that you started some time back. Yes. Would you take us through how far along you've come with that, and what have been some of the highlights of that campaign?
Okay. First of all, VUCA Africa, when VUCA Africa was started, the message was we must go and take the message of hope, healing and restoration, that God is going to restore Africa. And he's going to restore the church first, because the church is going to lead the restoration of Africa. So we must take this message in song, in dance, in word, and in print. Why? Because we are talking to Africans. And Africans are people of rhythm.
Yes.
They are people of song. You know, so if they don't hear the message when you speak it, but they will hear the message when they hear the music. So we've got songs of this message, hope, healing, and restoration songs. And so that's how we started to take this message across the continent, to every region, to every province in South Africa, to every region in Africa, calling people to arise, Africa to arise, which is why VUCA Africa, VUCA is closer for arise. So it is arise Africa. So Africa, calling Africa to arise, to lead. If we are going to be restored, we must be in charge of our restoration.
Right. We must rise up to the occasion.
Yes. We must be in charge of our restoration. It must not be controlled elsewhere. It must be in our hands. We must be hands-on to it, because it's for us and for our generation. And so arise, lead, and build, rebuild. We must rebuild our lives. You must understand we're coming from colonization, we're coming from apartheid. If you are in South Africa, colonization and apartheid, you know, and now we have neo-colonization. Even now, you know, we're liberated, but, you know, we are still wallowing.
Those psychological constraints
yes.
still haunt us up to today.
Yes.
The remnants of apartheid and colonization sometimes draw us back
yes.
from rising to the occasion, as you're
yes.
alluding to.
Yes.
How do you speak to a people who've been through that kind of a trauma and give them the confidence to know that they can actually do it, when all they've heard for decades is to say you're not good enough,
yes.
you cannot lead yourselves, you need us to tell you what to do for you to be successful?
Yes. You see, that's the reason why this message, because of that traumatic past, we don't have hope. We can't see a way forward. We can't see ourselves coming out of this. You must understand that Africa has been, most nations, been liberated for over 60 years, you know, but we are still wallowing in the past. Now you need to have hope in order to forget the past and look forward to a future. We even have a song that will make my past to be forgotten and my future to be fruitful. That you understand that your past has nothing to do with your future, you know? It has no direct impact on your future. So you must come out of that past, leave it behind you, and look forward. So you need to receive hope. Right. And you need to acknowledge that you went through trauma. And not only did you go through trauma, right? Your forefathers, because the oppression was 400 years. So it's generations of oppression. So you were raised by people who were oppressed, and they were raised by people who were oppressed.
And so the trauma is passed on to those generations.
To generations. So you need to acknowledge that, and you need to heal. You need to know that this caused wounds and brokenness and and hurts and disappointments and so on. So you need to acknowledge that. And then once you acknowledge, then you are ready to receive healing, because you understand that I'm not okay, I'm not well, I need healing. You know, the thing about it, Audrey, is that look at yourself, beautiful, but you can be beautiful like this and you are wounded.
Correct.
Because the wounds are inside, you can't see them. It's a different case when you had an accident and you have a wound. Then you treat the wound, you know. But the wound that is inside is hidden. But it's so impactful in your life. It impacts your decisions. It impacts, you know, everything about your life is sort of ruled by the wounds that are inside of you. So you need to acknowledge that and then be open for healing. And then once you are healed, you are on the right path now for restoration.
Right.
Now, this is Africa's time. We say it, you know, it's a narrative that is out there. It's Africa's time. What does it mean it's Africa's time? It's Africa's time to arise. It's Africa's time to lead. It's Africa's time to rebuild our lives first, our families, our communities, our nation, and our continent. And we take charge of that process.
How do we link all of this to what the contemporary situations that we're dealing with at the moment, particularly now with COVID-19 and all that it has stolen from people, a lot of hope. It has stolen a lot of hope from a lot of people, as I'm sure you can imagine. How do you link that with spirituality, of trying to heal inside and know that there's restoration in the near future if it's not happening right now?
Yes. So what happened is that when we understood that it was through prayer, right? I am a pastor. I'm a minister of the gospel. So when I looked at the situation, we were part of VUCA Africa. We have different things that we do, and we have a program of encouraging intercontinental trade, that we need to trade with one another and all of that. So we were going around the provinces and some nations with this message of business forums, you know, we need to establish businesses and so forth and so forth. So while we were doing that, we realized that people's emotions were not okay. We're bringing a message, we're thinking, oh, hope. People are supposed to be excited, but people are not excited. People are hurting. They're saying we have ideas, but we can't access funding and all of those things. We don't know what the government is doing and all of that. So then you took that to prayer. Why? What is going on? This is a message of hope. And then that is when God began to reveal that you are broken, you are wounded, you are hurting, you are disappointed, and you are angry. You need to heal. So how do we heal? And then the direction we received was that if you were physically sick, what do? You go to a doctor, he diagnoses, he gives treatment, and you take that treatment with the hope that you're going to heal. But now the woundedness and the brokenness is inside. You need the word of God. You need to take it as if you are taking tablets or whatever treatment for that particular sickness. But now, for your brokenness and your woundedness, you need. So we put together a program called the Word Treatment.
Okay.
So instead of medicine,
yes,
this is a different kind of medicine. And then we took scriptures out of the Bible of hope, of healing, of restoration. So we went, scanned the Bible, take out scriptures of hope, scriptures of 100 of them, 100 scriptures of hope, 100 scriptures of healing, 100 scriptures of restoration. And we put together that is the word treatment. Then we said to the people, take this as treatment, because that's why it's called word treatment. Take this as treatment. Take every day three of these scriptures, the hope, healing, and restoration. take it as if you are drinking this medicine.
As your dosage, as a daily dosage. But here's the thing, Dr. GOBODA, not everyone is a believer.
Yes.
As I'm sure you can imagine. How then do you, I'm sure your initiative is to encompass everyone in Africa, believers and non-believers. How do you then bridge that gap?
You know, the Word of God is the Word of God. And we know the effect of it. You know, we know the healing that comes with it. I received a message today from someone in Delft in Cape Town who is saying this, she is so thankful when this COVID-19 came. The first thing, because the way this COVID came was to bring fear. Before we saw the consequences of it, of what consequences, the impact of it in the economy, in people losing jobs, all of those things.
There's
the
fear
first
mongering.
thing was fear. People, everybody. Now, Christian or not Christian, the fear was across the board.
Correct.
You need to come out of this fear and be able to deal with this big monster that is facing us, right? And so we're saying it doesn't matter. If because people believe in something. So let's say you are a Muslim, so you have a Quran, right? In that Quran, there are scriptures of hope, there are scriptures of healing, there are scriptures of restoration. So go to the Quran, take those scriptures, give it to the people for them to receive that hope, to receive that healing, to receive that. If you are a Jew, you have a Torah. So find the scriptures there, you know. So this is open to anybody. All that we are saying is you need hope.
And in your travels, one of the issues that we face as Africans is the issue of unity. How well received were you when you went to other countries with this message?
It's amazing how the message is received, because if the message is truth and the message is true and you know you need it, you will receive it, you know. So we have never had problems. We have a footprint. We've been to different nations and people have received, you know, the message, and people have embraced the message. And that, like I'm saying, the person saying, when I took this, the day I read that scripture, that delivered me from fear. Fear left me. She says she was fearing this COVID, but then she was able to say, okay, we will deal with you for COVID, because you won't subject me to fear, you know. So what we are doing now, what happened is that then the Chief Justice of South Africa, Chief Justice Mogoeng, received, because he had a burden also of this healing. We started, when he received it, we invited him as VUCA Africa to a healing consultation after the xenophobia, the last one, last year, about September.
Because, yeah.
You remember?
Late last year.
Yes, late last year. So we invited people from different nations in Sandton at the Maslow Hotel, and he was the speaker there, to say, when did we become xenophobic? Let's discuss what is this xenophobia. You know, we are all Africans. So who are foreigners? Who are what? In which continent? We have one continent here. So why are we now, you know, hating each other because you are a foreigner and so on? And we had ambassadors from different nations, we have people and so on. And through that, we then took the same message to Soweto, took the same message to the Vaal with him. And this year, in April, we then asked him to lead this, because we saw his heart that he really wants to see Africa healed. And so he is now leading this campaign. VUCA Africa is no longer leading it. We are supporting him leading the Hope, Healing and Restoration campaign. And we are saying this should be a national project, and not just for South Africa, in any nation. Let it be a national project where this message of hope, healing and restoration reaches people in the village, reaches people in the suburbs, reaches people in wherever they are. They must reach, this message must reach them, that there is hope. There's hope for Africa. Our story is not going to end like this. Africans, arise, take your rightful place, and drive Africa to a fruitful Africa, to a successful Africa, to how can we have, tell me, the richest continent, but we're poor?
I'll take it back to our leaders, Dr. GOBODA. I think as you continue to say, as Africans, we need to have hope, we need to have healing. I absolutely agree with you. But our leaders in Africa also need to have that message instilled in them so that they're able to take us in that direction. We can't all be leaders, of course.
Yes.
Especially with what's been happening at the moment. You say a lot of people feel despondent. They say we don't know where to go, even if it's starting a business. We don't know where to get funding. Whatever way they try to alleviate the issues that they have in their societies, socioeconomic issues, there's barriers to entries. And they're looking for their leaders to be able to do that. Do you also have these conversations with the leaders at that level?
We try. We try to reach them, especially the new coming, like the new president of Malawi, for instance. We've offered this message to say you have an opportunity as you enter to heal your people, because obviously what they've been through before now, they've been hurt. We tried our own president, and we sent messages to say, you know, and he, in fact, he, in one meeting, I think it was during the passing of Mama Winnie Mandela, he said we're a nation that needs healing in his speech. And we caught that because this is the message. And we then tried to reach out to say, you know, as the president, you can, if you are understanding that you are a nation that needs healing, then you can drive this, you know. And I think that is why we have now had in South Africa the head of the judiciary, that's a leader, saying our nation needs healing, our continent needs healing, and let's have this. So we had a meeting on the 27th of April, our Freedom Day, that he called and called leaders across the board to say we need to unite, we need to pursue peace, and we need to receive hope, healing, and restoration. And over 300 leaders came together in that meeting. The next thing, Africa Day, 25th, we had now leaders from across the continent embracing this message. And so we're believing that this message is going to go, and I'm challenging Galaxy Universal Network to use this platform to send out this message of hope, healing, and restoration of Africa.
Well, hopefully you can get us the Chief Justice to come and speak to us with this subject. He has quite a bit of influence, as do you, so we can also have you know, those kind of voice to amplify the issue that you're talking about. You're well respected as a religious leader. You're an apostle, and I'll pose this question to you. The issue of Israel, you've taken a stance on that, but also because you've mentioned Chief Mogoeng. Where do you position the church and politics? Do they have a relationship? And if so, how should it be tackled in a way that is not offensive but progressive?
Okay. You know what? This narrative that the church is separate from politics is a big fat lie. I'll tell you why. The message of the kingdom of God, which is the message of the church. Once you say kingdom, you know what you're saying? Governance. And what the role of the church is to raise leaders in their areas of calling and gifting, which means these people who come to your church on Sunday, who sits there, are coming from different domains, different mountains, if you like, the 7 mountains. They are all sitting here. They are your congregation. Some are in politics. Some are in different areas, you know. Some are engineers, some are doctors, some are helpers in people's homes, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter, everybody has a calling in one thing or another. And what is the church supposed to do? To equip them for that area, the ones in media, the ones in in entertainment. They're supposed to be coming to the church to be equipped so that they can and be taught values, so that they can go and be leaders in those areas, right? Bringing good governance, if it's government, bringing righteousness and justice and so forth and so forth. All that is supposed to come from the church. So the church really is an integral part of government.
Well, very
of
interesting.
Politics.
Yes.
That's what the kingdom of God is about.
Yes, and I ask you this because, and again, I draw you into the issue of politics because you've said the two really go hand in hand, the issue of corruption that we hear from our leaders, particularly in a time of need that we're in right now, where people, again, could be losing hope. Yes. Just trying to get them to have that ethical leadership that is maybe drawn from having Christian values, if at all they are Christians. How important is it?
It's very important. That's why I'm saying these are things that are supposed to be taught in the church. So we've failed as the church, I must say, we've failed to do our duty, to work, to do the work that we're called to do, to prepare the people. We're not supposed to prepare people for heaven. We're supposed to prepare people for earth, to work here on earth now. But we've prepared people to sit here and wait until you go to heaven, and that's what has caused this problem. Because now imagine if we have done our work and people in key positions have been discipled, have come out of the church and understand the whole issue of upholding ethical values. You understand? Mm-hmm. So we would not be having problem with leadership. We are the ones who failed to do the work that we're supposed to do, and now we're pointing fingers. But it's never late. Let's disciple the nations now. Let's disciple the people now. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for speaking to us, Dr. GOBODA. I certainly feel inspired, if nothing else. And to our viewers that are watching us across the continent that may want to be involved in the projects that you do, the campaigns that you mobilize, where can they find you?
We have a website for the healing campaign, Healing the Nation.
Okay.
So if they can just check us there and put their, just send their a message, then they will get all the information.
Absolutely,
it's
I'm sure
available.
They will. A very positive message. Thank you so much for bringing light and hope and restoration to our studios today. We certainly appreciate it, Dr. Linda GOBODA. They're speaking to us about hope, healing, and restoration. It is possible, she says, VUCA Africa, it is time to rise up to the occasion, and to make sure that we heal our nation. We're not the nation of gloom and doom, as other people like to call us. And I hope that as our viewers today, if you take nothing from this message, at least you take that with you today from Galaxy Prime. From myself, Audrey Chimanda Twala. It's a very good night.